This is AJ Cook from Criminal Minds. I just finished talking to my buddy, Kara, over here at Really Famous. I'm always interested to pick her brain about how she feels about certain things, and more so to make sure that I'm not going crazy. I'm like, right, these things are happening. This really is a therapy session for me, you know.
Well, good.
I feel like I should be paying you.
Hey, welcome back to Really Famous. I'm Kara, a licensed therapist who makes videos with celebrities. I create a safe space so celebs can share their personal stories and their most vulnerable moments. You'll also get my therapist's take on what they did right to overcome adversity and turn their struggles into success. Today, my friend AJ Cook is back. AJ, who plays JJ Giroux on Criminal Minds and Criminal Minds Evolution, opens up about her struggles with perfectionism, and she talks about what her marriage is really like. Hint, it's not as perfect as it seems on the surface. Guess what? Nobody's is. We get into that. AJ shares how she flipped the script on herself and the brutal moment that changed everything. We also break down trauma, triggers, and mindset. Let's go.
All right, so you're filming Criminal Minds right now.
Yeah,
So-
season 19.
It's so popular. And at this moment in time, it's great to have a show like that on the air. Am I
I
right?
tell you, me and my castmates and our crew, everyone, every day, there's not a day that goes by where we're not vocally saying how grateful we are and how lucky we are to have a job, not just to have a job, but to have a job in LA. That shoots in LA. We get to go home to our families at night. It's been such a blessing, and to work with such great people.
Yeah, and you
On
guys
top of
really
that.
seem close. And I have to
We
say,
are.
I know that everybody thinks that everybody says, oh, we're so close, but it's not true.
We know that's BS a lot of the time.
Yeah, exactly. But I really sense that with you,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like that. So Aisha was on my show yesterday.
Oh, just yesterday.
Yeah, just yesterday.
Oh, Aisha.
And you can tell it's the real deal with you guys.
No, it's a serious love affair. And it's funny because, like I said, this is season 19, and you keep kind of waiting for the honeymoon phase to be over, but it's never ending, and it's never going to.
Right.
I think when you put a lot of really great, solid, down to earth people together in one room, that's never going to change. So we've been very lucky, and
Right.
we love going to work. I
And
love
so,
work.
like, how many months are you filming? It's 10 episodes a season, right?
Yeah, now that we're streaming,
Or weeks?
it's just 10. It takes 8 days to shoot one episode. So yeah, I think we're gonna be done like the end of October, which is mind blowing. I'll be done before all the major holidays happen. Like that, what's that like? So
Oh, do
I'm-
you usually film during the holidays?
Well, last season we wrapped right before Christmas. So it was like we wrapped like the 13th or something. Then it was just like head first into the holidays and just the holiday grind. So this will be nice to be able to have time to plan things. Like even for Halloween, I'm not going to be working. Last Halloween I was directing while shooting and acting, and kids at home Halloween. So it'll be nice to not have to worry about any of that. Just
And then
be home.
when you're directing, like, then you're also doing, like, how long do you have to prep for directing an episode?
Yeah, so you start prep. When the episode before you start shooting, that's when you start prepping. So you prep like 8 days in advance. It's like a week and a half. So you've got that week and a half before, you've got that week and a half that you film, and then you go into post for like a week and a half. So it's a stretch, but it's so rewarding. I love it. It's a lot of work, but it's so rewarding.
So is it like one a season that you'll direct, something like that?
Yeah, although the last 2 seasons, season 18 and 19, we as a collective decided that the cast that direct, that we would just pick one for those final 2 seasons. So I directed the season that just started airing now, season 18. I directed episode 7 in that one.
Okay.
And Aisha's just aired. She did episode 2 of this season. So she didn't direct last season. I'm not directing this season. So,
Okay.
but we
got it.
used to direct every season. It just got to be, that's a really hard thing to put on the writers. It's like a juggling, scheduling, conflict to have to constantly be writing out one of your major players.
So is that what
because
they
they're
do?
directing.
They like reduce the
But it got too difficult, and we all volunteered to make it a little easier on them to give up an episode.
Okay, that's good. And so
Team players.
All right, I know everybody has asked you this question, but I think it's what everybody wonders is how do you like direct yourself and act at the same time?
Oh, it's the worst. No, it's chaotic because you are in such director mode. The good news is that you already know what the director wants because you're in the head of the director. But it is a very different speed. So to kind of shift gears after you block everything and put your costume on, hair, makeup, and then you have to kind of shift gears into not just being an actor, but you have to kind of forget that you're directing. And you have to really trust your first AD and your DP because they're your eyes while you're shooting it. And because like our show is a very ambitious show, like to shoot our show in 8 days is actually bonkers, especially the streaming version because it's a longer version than what it used to be. So you have to move quickly. So normally on like another show that had more time, you would watch playback of what you did. If you were directing and you were in the scene, you would have the opportunity to watch playback to make sure it was exactly what you wanted. We don't have that luxury. There are days that they will do that for you. I have done that before, but it just really slows the day down. And as a director, you're like, oh man, we got to get after this. We got to get after this. So you just really have to trust your eyes and ears. So that's hard. You're like, okay, I think they know what I want. Okay, let's go. But yeah, it's just it's a gear shift that you got to do in your head. And sometimes I'm good at it and other times I'm terrible at it.
Well, as all of life is.
Exactly.
Right? It doesn't matter even what you're exceptionally good at. There are going to be times when you're not.
It's like, what's today going to be?
Right. So when you, like, speaking of that, so you wake up and you're filming, like, what's your mindset? What do you go through before you film a day of Criminal Minds?
Just as an actor or as a director actor? Because that's a whole different ballgame.
Well, okay, let's say, I feel like then the director ballgame seems more
I don't think you want to know what's happening in my head. It's a 3-ring circus. So it's a juggling act. There's so many things to consider. And I'm a big note taker, but I'm not like a technological person. I don't like using iPads or screens. It just really irks me. And it works really, really well. Like Aisha, she uses what is it? Synchronized? No, I'm totally saying it wrong. But synchronized. It's like synchronized, but it's good. There's a screen in there somewhere. She uses a certain system that works really, really well for her. But that's how her brain works. Like she's okay to do it all. And she's always got her little iPad with her and everything's right there. And that would make my life so much easier. But that's just not how I do it. So I've got notes everywhere. I look like a psychopath.
Pen and paper?
Yeah, yeah. Like that probably no one else can read because it's chicken scratch. So I've just got notes everywhere and it all makes sense to me. But I think I might be checked into a mental hospital if anyone else like looked through it. So that's my process and it's ugly, but it works for me. And I have to because there's so many thoughts going through my head that I have to kind of like scribble them down really quick before they're gone because there's like 50 million other thoughts being flooded. Yeah, so it's just you hit the ground running. I am that person that needs a lot of sleep.
How much sleep we're talking about?
I mean, I need 8 at least. Yeah. Like,
every night.
Ideally.
Yeah, well, there's no way you're getting 8 though, right?
Not happening. And it's not happening in my regular life either. But when I'm directing, it's definitely not happening. So I just have to prop myself up. And it's almost like I step into this character that's not me when I have to direct because I don't know any other way. And you just put your head down and you hit the ground running and you don't stop running until you hit the mattress at the end of the night.
Yeah. So that's and to do that for, I mean, that you're not directing for months at a time.
No,
but-
that's why I wasn't mad at giving up one of the directing episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you're just kind of and when I say just acting,
I know, but you
know, yeah, right. You said it yourself. So
I know.
Just.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that, like, how is your mental state throughout those months compared to when you're off and you don't have this to go to regularly?
It's interesting because we just came off a significant break, like probably the longest break we've had in a really long time. Last year, we shot 2 seasons back to back, which I loved because we were coming off the year of the strike. So we really wanted to like get some money back in everyone's bank accounts, like our crew, and people were suffering. And we're like, okay, let's just shoot these 2 back to back. And it was wonderful and just, woo, it was a good time. But that catches up to you eventually. So we finished right before Christmas last year, and then we didn't come back until May. So that was like a decent break. I've not had that much time off in a minute. So I always have a hard time with those transitions because of acting is such a huge part of who I am. Like it's that creative thing in me. It's called like my job. It's not work to me. It's in me. It's a huge part of who I am. So when I'm not doing that, it's a struggle for me to transition out of that, to figure out how to just be a mom or a wife, or which is ridiculous. Like that's being a mom and being at home is the hardest job ever. So it always takes me a minute to transition over. I feel like mentally I probably struggle more when I'm not working than when I am working. But I've always been that way. I've always worked. I've always like paid my own way. I've always been very independent, and that's always been very important to me. So my husband's been really great in helping me slow down and be okay with it, because I'm sure you're the same way.
Same way.
Yeah. When you're not doing anything, I really struggle with not doing anything. I feel guilty. It's like, oh gosh, like I can't have anyone see me just like sitting here. Like I should be doing something. But because of the type of year we had with the back-to-back seasons, it was so important that I did nothing. So much so that my body was like, girlfriend, we're going to force you to do nothing. I ran myself empty. So I got really sick, and I was sick for like, I want to say most of the time off, but that's what happens.
Sick how?
Well, I got kids too. What didn't we have?
Oh,
what didn't we
so
have?
just like one thing after the
next.
next.
It was just one of those. But we knew it was going to be one of the worst flu seasons in a long time, so we were kind of prepared for that. But yeah, when you run yourself ragged like that, I was just I was bragging about the fact that I didn't get sick once last year, and then I just got rolled over with sickness.
So how did you realize that, this is from maybe taking on a little bit too much?
Well, it's a pattern in my life.
Oh, okay. Do tell.
Yeah, it's a pattern in my life. It's what I do. I love my work so much, but I love my life so much too, that it's really hard for me to figure out how to balance it all, because you want to be so present in all places, but I don't really know how to do that without essentially this is what will happen, is that my body will slow down for me and force me to just take a breath and have me be okay with just sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is such a strange...
It's a strange thing.
Yeah. Strange phenomenon. Like you really don't realize, because you're going like 100 miles an hour and then it's like you just pull off the freeway.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's so different.
You run out of gas. You don't even want to pull off the freeway, but you're like, your tank is empty.
Right. You didn't even know the tank was empty,
No.
right? You were just going. You felt like it was just on momentum and it felt fine. But it's like when you stop is when you realize
you're like, ooh.
Yeah. So do you get to a place where you feel you lean in to not working for that
Yes.
time frame?
Yes. And that's because of my husband. My husband's been
How?
a huge, because he knows me so well and he sees the panic in my eyes of like, I'm not great at making plans for myself. Right, Raquel? You can't see her, but this lovely woman in my life, Raquel, she's always after me about like, did you make the doctor's appointment? Are you looking after yourself? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? I'm really good at following direction. I'm really good at getting a call time, being told what to do, structured stuff. I live for that. I am a lost soul when no one is telling me what to do because I don't know. I'm just like, okay, what am I going to do today?
So you like wake up sort of in a fog, like with no direction?
Yeah, but our mornings are chaos because of the kids. It's like getting them out to school, getting the kids off. But after I drop my kids off and then I come back home, after that, I would always go to Pilates and like have that structure. But then I got injured and I couldn't do Pilates and then I got sick. And then it was just me literally forced to just sit there and be like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? What's happening?
Right. So did it make you anxious or depressed?
It made me so uncomfortable. And my husband saw that. And he was like, my husband's favorite thing to do is nothing. He's like, this is the best. You gotta like settle into it. And he really helped me breathe into it.
So how did he help you breathe into it though? Because it's one thing to say it and be like, oh, okay, I have to. But it's another thing to really absorb that.
Yeah, no, he was like my Mr. Miyagi. He showed me his ways. So he would, be like, get up, come on, we're going for a walk. I mean, we live at the beach. It's, of course, let's go for a walk. Just little things like that, like getting outside, going to do something that I would never get to do on a normal day when I'm working. I don't get to take advantage of that. So it's just like enjoying the little things. He's always trying to get me to go to yoga with him. Like, just breathe. He's such a hippie. I love him.
Does he still skateboard to work? Didn't he skateboard to work?
Yes. I mean, his commute is like 2 minutes on a skateboard. I mean, he's living the life.
But you're not doing nothing, just to be clear. That's not doing nothing.
This is what he is teaching me.
Okay. Right. Because you are doing, and it's kind of the opposite of nothing, right? Because doing nothing would really be frustrating. So it's going for a walk and just kind of intentionally breathing and being in the moment is something.
Absolutely. And I needed to change my way of thinking when it comes to that. Instead of like shaming myself or feeling guilty, I had to switch that perspective and realize how important this time is for anyone. But like for me specifically, I'm an introvert, like I'm a homebody, and what I do for a living when I'm around people, it's a lot of energy and it's just energy flying everywhere and I'm always on and I have to be on and it takes a lot from me. So then when I don't have to do that, I'm drained. Like I think what people don't, I was just having this conversation today, is that I think a lot of people think that I'm this extrovert and like, good time. And that's kind of an act. And that is who I am as well. But I need a lot of alone time. I need to recharge a lot, like more than the average person. I need to just have time. So I've started to shift my way of thinking that I need this. This is a part of me recharging my battery because I am normally going 100 miles per hour. And my husband kind of walked me through this. It's like, why are you feeling guilty? You work your ass off and you go, 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 go. He's like, this time right now of doing nothing is a gift and it's everything that you need to recharge. So once I changed my perspective on it, I was like, okay, I get this.
And it's like a cycle because you're going to come back to that.
Exactly.
So it's not
and
like
I am in it now.
That. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you can see that long-term perspective, I'm going to be back in that zone again. So it's fine. Yeah. This is just a time period in between those two zones.
This is a gift. This is a gift to recharge. And then I'm going to be back at it.
Right. But what about, so where do you think the shame comes from? Like, why do you think you feel like you need to be?
Well, I've always been that way. I don't know, because I've always really looked up to those women that just seem to have it all together, and they're independent, and they've got a really great job, and they're such a presence. And you only ever see them that way. And
Like
I think,
who?
well, there were like women in my community that I really looked up to, that like one of them was like a real estate agent. She just seemed so
Yeah,
fancy
yeah,
to
yeah.
me. Like, ooh, a real estate, like she carried a briefcase and wore like a cute suit, you know? And I grew up in a really blue collar town. So that to me was very like, I'm like, oh, that's, I admire that she's got hustle, and, that she seems busy. I don't, honestly, I don't know where it came from, but I've always been very driven and wanted more for my life. So I think when I'm not actively working toward what that goal is, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself and shame myself, or make myself feel guilty that like, oh, I should be doing more. But with wisdom comes the realization that you can't do more if you're empty. So it's the yin and yang of it all.
Right. It's interesting too because, right, so you came from more of a blue collar environment. So did you see yourself, or did you have women who you looked up to as like, oh, I want to be like that? Or was it when you got into this environment that you were like, oh, wow, and it opened your eyes to another way?
Yeah, I think my grandmother was a nurse. My grandparents lived with us. Like my grandmother worked. My mother worked as well. My dad is like such a hustler, like always working. So I've been around hard workers my whole life, which I'm so grateful for. And I've always worked from the time I could remember. And I was a dancer too. So I think the dance background has a lot to do with it, where you're just, you're grinding in the studio. You're not sitting around.
Right.
You gotta look busy. It's like if you got time to lean, you got time to clean kind of mentality that I grew up with maybe. But also like just from maybe TV shows that I saw too. I just always really admired that independent woman. It called to me for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
think I saw
interesting.
that as well. Like, I think I had that same, and I don't know where it came from necessarily, but like when you see it, oh, I like that. Like I can kind of see myself like that. And it helps to see that.
Yeah.
And it, so it's something that it's good, I think, to have that drive if it feels good to you.
Yeah.
And so, but it does make the downtime a bigger conflict internally, especially because you're living in you're near the beach.
I know.
And so there's that,
Yeah.
you're kind of like your environment, you're in different environments, right? During the times when you're filming,
It's a
you're in
juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
But it's funny because also when you said like people think you're this outgoing person, I don't think of you that way.
Okay. Well, because we've talked a lot. Like you see me.
I do. So
Yeah.
even when you came in today, you seemed more, right, like extroverted than I think of you. And I think it's because, yes.
Oh gosh, I'm spiraling then.
No,
I'm
you're not spiraling, but you're in that mode
Yeah.
now where this is what you are doing because you're in this environment. But that makes me feel like, yes, it must take even more out of you, even when you don't realize it. And then you realize it when you, like we said, get off the freeway.
Yeah. Yeah. No, after a day like today and yesterday, I did some press yesterday. You always feel it when you get home. You're like, oh, no one talked to me. But then as a mom and a wife, you feel like you want to show up and give as much as you, like I just gave my everything to my work. How dare I not give my everything to my family? But my husband's also been crucial in that way too, because he understands that. He's like, this is a safe space. He's like, of course you just want to sit and veg for a minute. Like you don't want to talk.
No.
I get that. And he understands that too, because he's a lot like that as well. So
there's also nothing wrong with that as a mom. Like you don't have to be constantly tending to the kids.
Oh, the kids love it when I need space. I'm not like, did you do your homework? Did you get it done? Yeah.
But
yeah.
isn't it good for them to see
Yeah.
you being a human?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Right? Because there are sometimes when some people have parents who really seem like they're not human, right? And so they think that they have to constantly be perfect or whatever. And it's kind of setting yourself up for a failure, I think.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because our boys are definitely very similar in that way. Like they can be very extroverted and social. But I think because they've seen it with us, with my husband and myself, that they know that they can also come home and just shut her down, and that's okay. And like home has become this sanctuary and this safe space, which is what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we've seen it with the boys too. So
yeah,
which makes me feel good that they know that this is their space to be whatever they need to be at that moment.
Right. So I think last time we talked about anxiety too, and kind of how you handle anxiety. So
What's anxiety?
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I keep bumping this. I'm so sorry. I'm a rookie here.
So yes, anxiety. What's anxiety? Said as a joke because everybody knows what anxiety is because it's very, very common.
Yeah, I feel like it's. Do you think that sometimes we misinterpret?
Okay,
anxiety?
let's go. What do you mean?
I'm curious. I just feel like everyone's so eager to slap a name on things where, like when I was, I'm going to sound so old, but like when I was a kid, I don't know. I feel like everything is so medical now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's not necessarily doesn't need to be. It's just, it's okay. It's okay to have anxiety. There's nothing wrong with you. It's a totally normal human thing. I think the more we dwell on it, the more the anxiety grows.
You are absolutely right. Well, you remember I'm a therapist, right?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes, I do. That's why I'm asking you. I'm
Yeah.
like, right?
Right.
I feel like we're making ourselves more anxious.
So I definitely have thoughts on that.
And I'm dying to talk to you about
many
this.
thoughts about it. So yes, not only is anxiety normal, but we are built to have anxiety. It's there for a reason. It's there physiologically to protect us from threats, right? So it's a very normal human function and reaction to things. But what happens is when we start perceiving threats that aren't real threats anymore, that it can become difficult to deal with. But the good news is you can just do things about it and shift your mindset on how you see it. And then it does not have to have the impact that you think it has or that it had before. So that's one aspect of it. So it's okay to you don't have to shut down anxiety and be like, oh no, I have to run from it. I can't get anxious. Anxiety is such a bad thing. No, it's a normal human function and it's fine, but you just have to have strategies for dealing with it. But in terms of medicalizing, yes, I agree with that as well. So as a therapist, I find, especially more and more, I lean towards positive psychology where you really tap into your strengths and you see all the things that are difficult as things that you can not only manage, but you can use them to your advantage. And so I'm not about illness so much and that everything is disordered. Now there are disorders, believe
Absolutely.
me.
I'm not
working with people who have personality disorders or serious psychiatric conditions. So I'm talking about people with regular
life is stressful.
Exactly. But it's okay. And
Yes,
it doesn't mean
be.
there's something wrong with you. It's just this is what life entails. And you just have to have a system for dealing with it.
Yeah, this is something that I've noticed just with some of my friend group, and the ones that really struggle are the ones. Rumination, I think, is our worst enemy. I think they can't get off that hamster wheel. And I try to explain to them that maybe don't think about it so much. And I feel like therapy too. Therapy is a great thing, but I also feel like if you're not with the right therapist, if you keep picking at a scab, how's it ever going to heal. And again, I'm talking about like, things like anxiety or how do you get out of that loop? How can I help my friends get out of that loop?
So you
of-
have
of
friends in the
rumination.
rumination loop?
Yes, like severely.
So is it usually about one thing that
Yes.
they're ruminating over? Like,
Yeah.
what's an example?
I mean, just like boyfriend drama
Uh-huh.
and rightfully so because of past things that have happened, but that's not this person. Like, how do you get someone to get off that wheel?
Well, first of all, they may not be in the right relationship. That might be part of the problem.
Ooh, ouch.
So I don't know who you're talking about or what their situation is.
I just feel like this
but
is a very broad, like so many people are stuck in this.
And so what, like over analyzing something that happened?
Yeah,
Or like
yeah.
like can't get over a concern or something? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I just can't get over like the idea of like something's happening that they're unaware of. So I think it's a
Like a trust issue?
Yeah, I think that's probably trust issues.
Right.
But
Depends on the relationship again. Like
Yeah.
if the relationship is a good one, but they're fixating on something may be happening, then it probably does have something to do with what happened to them before. And so what I would do is probably show them the differences between what happened before and this relationship.
I see.
Right. I'm taking a lot of leaps here. I'm assuming this relationship is good and the partner is not doing anything wrong and the past relationship was bad and the partner did do something wrong.
Yes.
So if that was the case, then that's what I would do.
Okay.
Right. So you have to really deal with the issues that you're coming into the relationship with or they're going to show themselves again.
It's just I feel so bad for people that are stuck in that like rumination phase.
Yeah.
And it's such a common thing.
It is, but
get out of.
the first thing just on the surface is to identify, oh, I'm doing that again. Oh, that's the loop. Oh, I'm in the loop again. And so then telling themselves, okay, I know this is useless.
Right,
And in
it's
fact,
about-
it will just continue to drive me nuts. So
Mm-hmm.
I see that again and I'm choosing not to latch onto that. I will
Mm-hmm.
free myself of that and I'll let it just float away and then use a substitute to think about something else. And so you
Mm.
can kind of train yourself to get out of that rumination loop. But if it's a bigger issue, you have to target the issue, get over it, move on, and then it'll be done.
You hear that, people? I'm sure a lot of people needed to hear that.
I think probably.
Thank
they
you.
did. Very common. So I like to talk about this stuff. I find it very
I
interesting.
do too, and I've been wanting to talk to you about it because I know that this is what you do, and I'm fascinated on that whole side of it because I feel like it's a place that so many people are familiar with, yet they don't know what to do, how to get out of it, how to get out of the loop.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So fire away. What else have you got for me?
well,
then?
I know people that are so desperate to get out of the loop that they'll go like do psilocybin and all of that, take that route, the ketamine thing, like all of that. I'm just like, there's got to be a better way.
Okay. So it depends.
It
on what
depends.
the
Again,
situation is
everyone has
because-
trauma and
Okay. But all right.
I know. Now we're going in a totally
right.
different. I'm just
Well,
talking
let's-
about anxiety.
So let's
We
talk
started with
about
anxiety.
trauma.
How did we get here?
Oh, but this is a good place to be. So some of what I will say, right, could be perceived as controversial. So I don't know. I'm just going to say it anyway, and I'll decide, or everybody else can decide what they
Yeah.
think about it. But yes, so people have had trauma, and they need to. First of all, I have to disclaim that I just discovered I've been saying the word trauma wrong for my entire life, and I say it all the time.
Trauma.
I say trauma like drama.
So do I.
You do?
How are we supposed to say this word?
Trauma, like with an AU, because it does have AU.
Trauma.
Trauma.
Trauma?
Yeah.
Say it.
Well, trauma. But that sounds wrong to me, but I'm trying to say it like
You
that
see, it
now.
doesn't. Does it?
But
does
no,
it
that's the way I think that you're supposed to say
Oh.
it. But I say trauma.
I
okay, you
think
don't
that-
hear it.
I
Good.
think that sounds fantastic.
Okay, good. It was
Keep it
my
up.
son who pointed out to me. He's like, "What did
Oh,
you just say?" I said,
That's
"What
something
do you
a
mean?"
son would point out.
Yeah, yeah. So he's like, "It's not trauma." I was like, "Yes, it is. What are you talking about?" And then we went
There's
like,
so much drama in the trauma.
right? We went looking up videos and whatnot to see. It's really hard to see. But okay, so getting back to the actual
Yes.
subject of trauma, there are many people who have had trauma and they need to address it and get through it. And the only way to get past trauma is to face it and do it and talk to a therapist about it. But it certainly you can get past it. And just because you've had trauma doesn't mean you're broken. A lot of people think that they're broken. So that aside, also, I think we're being trained to think that we've been traumatized when we haven't.
Okay, so what I will say, so we've said the word trauma so many times. Trauma is one of my least favorite words on planet Earth. That and triggered. Oh, I'm triggered. Those words. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Because they're so overused. I think, in my humble opinion.
Not only overused, but they victimize you.
Yes. This is what I wanted to talk to you about too, just to see what your opinion was on it.
Yeah, so you see it and you feel like that's the case, that it's like, what is all of this about? So tell me your opinion and then I'll give you my thoughts.
I just think it's used in the wrong way. I think it's like an everyday word now, and it has taken what it actually is, the true meaning of it. It's lost its meaning. It's like an everyday word now of like, oh, I lost my parking spot. I'm so triggered. Or, oh my gosh, I had so much trauma. My haircut was terrible. You know what I mean? I mean, everyone's got some level of trauma in their lives, and who's to judge, I don't know. I just feel like we're throwing the word around a little too carelessly, right? And it's it's become a competition. It's also become a competition on who has the worst trauma. I'm like, this is not a competition I want to be involved in.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't want to
healthy.
win that.
No, it's not. It's really putting a negative spin on life, and it's looking for this. We talked about last time in a different context. Is that whatever you are looking for, you will find. So if you are looking for problems, you will find them.
Oh my gosh.
If you are looking for good things in life, you will find them, right? So this is that in just a different context, which is, if we're going to be talking so much about getting triggered by things, we're going to constantly be triggered by things. And then you're like inviting it in because your subconscious is looking for it.
Yeah.
And the same with trauma. And it kind of dilutes the meaning of trauma because, like I said, there are people who have been through legitimate trauma.
The most terrible things that one could even think of.
Right. But that's not the same as like life. And yes, there are difficult people and there are difficult situations that you will be through or go through, but it doesn't mean that you have had trauma and you're a victim of trauma. Like, I really don't.
The victim mentality, it is so dangerous.
And it's common, and it's becoming more common, I think.
I do too.
And
good. So it's not just
problem.
Me. So it's not just me.
Do you think it's just you? Like, do you ever talk to anybody else about this? Or is this just kind of internally swirling?
I mean, my husband.
Does he agree?
Oh, for sure.
For
sure. He can't. He's like, I can't hear it.
Right.
I can't do it.
So there's like I said, there's a basis in reality for those things. But also another thing that I notice as a therapist now versus like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago is using all these therapy terms.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to bring up another thing too. It's a little bit different, and you are not dating and I am not dating. So it's kind of funny that we would talk to each other about it. But I was talking to somebody yesterday about this and I think it's an interesting topic. So you tell them, I just figured I'd bring it up.
What this is.
Dating today.
Oh gosh.
With
no said.
There is a thing now with dating where people have a checklist in mind. Like there are a lot of checklists. Like somebody on a date, if I'm going to date somebody, they have to do A, B, C, D, E, and F, let's say. Do you guys agree with me? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yes. Okay. So we're getting 3 heads nodding. Yes. So you don't necessarily want to disqualify somebody for something like that because especially if they're in their 20s, they're still in progress. Like they are a work in progress. They're learning how to do things. It's the bigger things you don't want to miss that are the things to judge. Like, are they supportive? Yeah. Are they, how do they talk about other people or whatever else? You have to look for those signs of a real good partner.
Yeah.
But that's the trend that I'm seeing now.
I know. And from what I understand, there's a lot of single people and they will remain single because like relationships are hard. I mean, I know people look at my husband and myself and think that we have a perfect marriage. And our 25th wedding anniversary is coming up next year. And we've been together for, gosh, almost 28 years. And we do have a wonderful relationship, but it's work. It's hard work. And nothing is easy, but we love each other above all else. And so you show up for each other every day and you put in the work. I feel like I think it goes back to social media and just seeing this fake world of everything, and everything's glossy and pretty and perfect. And you only see the good days. And people, this younger generation, I guess, I somehow think that that's what it's supposed to be. It's not.
It's not realistic at all.
It's not. It's not. And you're going to be alone. And that's okay. That's okay if that's what you want.
Totally okay.
Totally okay. I'm not bagging on that.
Because we could go into that
at all
topic too, but
because you might be onto something. But no, I mean, this is the problem I have, and I really worry about, my sons and what that looks like for them in the future. The second they come up against anything difficult in a relationship or an issue, they don't know how to deal with it, so they just end it. And that's not life. Like that's not what a relationship is. A relationship is working through your differences and making it work.
Right.
It's work. The word work is in there.
So what does it look like? Like what does it really look like? Marriage.
It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's your life partner. It's your best friend. It's someone that you can talk to about anything. You annoy the hell out of each other, and you also love each other to bits. It's all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have a lot of respect and forgiveness. And each day is just, you choose this person.
Right. And every day you're not going to choose them, by the way.
Yeah. Some days you're going to be pissed off.
Right. You're going to be like, I'm not choosing this.
Yeah. I love you, but I don't have to like you right now. Yeah. And I think that's what is misunderstood, is that people are allowed to have bad days. And if you're dating someone and they happen to have a bad day, as long as it's not abusive or disrespectful, as long as it's not a red flag, like if they didn't pull the chair out for you or, didn't text you back within 5 minutes, like that's okay. You can work through those things.
Yeah.
But I think if you're so quick to dismiss a relationship, then it's not meant to be, maybe. But you're also not giving yourself time to realize if it was.
Yeah.
So
I do think it's a lot harder than people think, except people who are in long-term relationships too, because it's just for two people to be so closely entwined for so many years. It's impossible not to have problems. And I mean, my parents have been married forever, like 50 something years or whatever. And to me, it's like a miracle. Like how does anybody stay married that long? Because it does seem like an impossibility almost. I have an example right in front of me and I can see them and they still seem to want to be together and they get annoyed with each other plenty, right?
course.
You'll see them. I know when my father is annoyed with my mom or like the opposite.
Yeah.
And it's the same things. I get it. But then a few minutes later, like they're happy to be hanging out with each other again. So,
well, it's your safe space. Your partner should be your safe space where you can have bad days and you can have good days and they can have bad days and good days. And you know that the other person is going to be there for you.
Right. So give me an example of something doesn't go right and you're annoyed with your husband. What do you do?
Well, here's an example that happened just the other day. And I was at work or something, like just busy, really, really busy. And that morning, my husband mentioned that he needed to go drop off my son's. They just finished the high school volleyball season, and he needed to drop off my son's uniform at the coach's house. And so I knew he needed to do that. So I was stuck in traffic. I was like super irritable, which, you know, being a woman who was around that time. So I was already like just irritated, and like traffic was really bad, which don't even get me started on driving around here. People are so distracted and on their phones. Ugh.
Wait, can I add one quick thing?
Yeah.
Too many people in California drive slow in the left lane. It is a phenomenon that drives me
Do you
absolutely
not
crazy. And we
wanna-
need to make an announcement that left lanes are for passing or
Get
going
out
really
the
much
way.
faster. Pass a car and then get to the right. Okay,
But-
sorry. Go on.
Yeah,
Back
yeah.
to what you're saying.
But you know what? They're not even paying attention. They're on their phones.
So you were aggravated.
Yeah, it was just like a long day, and I was just already irritated by it for no good reason. Just I was in that state of mind, and I walked in the door, and the uniform was still on the counter, and I was like, I don't even know why I said it out loud, because it was a dick thing to say. It was like, he had one thing to do today, and he was upstairs and he heard, and I felt terrible. And I apologized immediately. So like, we have bad days. We say things that we don't mean. Younger me would have held on to it and not like just pretended that it didn't happen, or just would have stayed in that irritated place, and he would have stayed in that pissed off place, and we just would have been like pissed off, and it would have not been a fun evening. But with wisdom, I immediately called myself out. I was like, I didn't mean that. Like, I've had he knows how I am with driving on the road. I get so irritated. I'm working on that, because it's not worth my time or energy to be irritated by that sort of thing. But yeah, no. So I nipped it in the bud. I said, sorry, that was a total jerk thing to say. I didn't mean it. It came out the wrong way. I'm sorry. And he understood, and we hugged it out, and we moved on, and things were fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with a successful relationship, that's what you have to do. You got to be the bigger person, and you got to admit when you're wrong.
Yeah. But also it's key to know that, you're just human to
Yes.
have said that and felt that in that
Yeah.
moment. So
Yeah.
that's okay too.
Exactly. And he knows that about me,
Yeah.
and I know that about him. Again, we've been together forever. We know what the other's thinking. But yeah, I think it's just important. But it took me a while to learn that it's okay to admit that you're wrong and just let it go. And the only way I'm going to feel better about something is if I talk to him about it, or to anyone. And that has taken me a long time to learn. But man, once I learned that lesson, whew.
So what do you mean that took you a long time to learn? So what you would let something kind of fester inside?
Yeah,
give me an example.
If something happened between anyone, like, or even on set, if something happened on set and someone had done something or said something and it hurt my feelings, or I would have held on to it and I would have never addressed it. And that's just how I've always been. I would just bottle everything up and just push everything in. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Like, I got this. I'm strong. But that only works for so long. So now if something like that would happen on set, I would go to the person immediately and just be like, I'm so sorry. And most of the time they're like, oh my gosh, that's not what I meant. Because that's happened to me too, where someone has come to me and said, oh, that thing you said. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, that's not what I meant at all. A lot of the times people are offended over something that they don't even need to be offended about. And if you just communicate, it's done. And we all can go on our merry way and we can live happily ever after. But that takes courage and bravery to go up to a person and bring something like that up. So that is something I had to learn.
Why
And
did you
now
learn it?
I know it's so much better just to deal with it straight out the gate. Now I'm like, right away, okay, let's handle this.
Totally. That's much better.
Much
And
better.
the more you do it, the better you get at it, by the way,
Yes.
the more normal it feels. And then you're
Yes.
also setting an example for other people who
Yeah.
you're, addressing things with. But why did you feel like you needed to? What happened that you were like, okay, I need to change this and start expressing myself or communicating better?
Yeah, because when you carry all of that weight with you, it goes back to what we were talking before. It's about, I deal with perfectionism for sure. So when you carry all of that with you, it's impossible to be perfect. No one's perfect. Like, why would you even want to do that to yourself? Like, that just doesn't make sense. But for some reason, some of us really strive for that. And anything less, we feel a lot of shame and we feel guilty and we call ourselves lazy and blah, 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 all the terrible things. And I got tired of living that way because it just really weighs on you and drags you down. And I saw what it was doing to me physically as well, not just mentally. But I think the big thing for me was when I saw that behavior in my son. No, I'm not going to cry. I think when you start to see certain behavior, as a parent, you just want everything like the best for your kids. And we're only human. There's no like handbook for this. Each kid is so individual and different. Just when you think you got one figured out, the next one comes along and they're completely different. And the things that you hate most about yourself, you're so paranoid and so scared that you're going to pass that on to your kids. And I think for me, when I saw that in my son, I'm like, no, that's not something I want to pass on. So yeah, I had to like let that go real quick because they're so impressionable and we're their teachers, whether we want to be or not. They see everything, they hear everything. So, I mean, there's so much pressure there, but my number one goal, the most important thing to me and my husband is raising good boys, raising decent humans that have a good heart and know their self-worth and are just ready for life and whatever it throws at them. So like I said before, you know how much pain those things, perfectionism, I've struggled with that my whole life. And that's the last thing I want to pass on to my kids. So the second I saw any of that in my son, that's always been the wake-up call for me. That's, for me, any of my major life changes have happened because my kids are my mirror. And instantly, that is the switch for me. So, yeah.
That's a
Parenting
beautiful
is hard.
thing. It is hard.
Yeah.
So how did you do it then? That was your wake-up call. You were like, I've got to do something about this. But then what did you do?
It's interesting how it's almost like a switch. Obviously, there's times where you revert back, but I think you're more aware of it. You're just ultra super aware of when you hear yourself slip back into those old ways, because the pain of seeing your son that way is automatically triggered. Sorry, I said the T word. You feel it inside. You're just like, no, I don't want to do that. So that is just like the constant reminder of, yeah, you're going to slip up. You're going to revert back to old habits, but you just hope to catch it quicker every time.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't continue to show that behavior.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Also, I will say that lots of times I'll be in a therapy session and like, we'll identify something and somebody will say to me, well, what do I do about it? And I'll be like, you realizing it, self-awareness is the biggest step. So just for a minute, just sit in it and notice it and notice when you do it. That's
been the most wonderful thing about aging, is the wisdom, is the self-awareness. It's so, I don't know why it's so hard to, there's so much noise, I guess, when you're growing up that it's harder to have that self-awareness. Or maybe your self-awareness is different, especially if you dealt with perfectionism, because it's not realistic. So you're just trying to be this like perfect thing all the time. But it's a lot easier to have self-awareness when you get old.
It's true. And also, you're not like, perfect is not a thing to strive for.
No,
not only because
it
it's
doesn't
not,
exist.
Right. But actually getting better and better over the course of your life that's a much better goal,
Yes. Yeah.
right? To keep growing, keep learning, keep evolving. That's so much better than trying to be perfect, which is a static thing that doesn't even exist. But like, why would you target that? But it's so common and so many of us do it. But it's a very hard thing to break, which is why I asked you what you did about it. Because a lot of people want to know, what do I do about being a perfectionist? So you would say,
Well, it was my children that really opened my eyes to it, and recognizing those patterns and just understanding that I had to change.
Yeah.
I had to.
okay,
So,
what's left to work on still, do you think? What do you right now? Oh, by the way, side note, you use triggered in the exact right way.
Okay, good.
You're not getting triggered by little things, but it triggered something inside of you.
Yeah.
Which was exactly the proper use of it, not the overuse of it. All right, getting back to, what do you feel like you're still working on right now?
Oh my gosh, how much time do you have? All the things. Oh, it's a work in progress. Every day is just a work in progress. And especially coming off of this last break from my hiatus from work, it felt like I entered this like quiet phase in my life, which again took a long time for me to settle into it and accept it, and understand that it was a lesson, a huge lesson in life. So it's just I don't want it to sound like, oh, it's like this light switch where, oh, I flicked the switch and was suddenly okay with everything. That's not how it is. It's like a constant battle to not revert back to the things that you're trying to improve upon. I think my husband has been really helpful in pointing out when I slip back in my ways, which is so annoying at times, but I'm so grateful for, and vice versa. So it's been really helpful to have that person that you're accountable to, and just knows you inside and out. But yeah, I still deal with, like, am I doing enough? Am I good enough? Am I, are my boys okay? And is my work okay? And, oh, am I offending this person? Or, are people going to judge me because my kids work with me? Or like, just like stupid things like that, where every day I'm learning that who cares? I don't care what so-and-so from so-and-so thinks about something, because it's none of my business what you think. All that matters is my family and how I feel, and what we're doing feels good and it's working. And like I said, our house is a sanctuary, and it's a safe space, and I love that. I love that about our house. And we really strive for that. Sometimes, though, my husband are like, is it like, are we too cool here? Like, are the boys ever going to leave? Are we making this place too easy? But no, life is difficult enough. I think it's important to have a place to come to where you can just set all your worries aside and just breathe.
Okay, I love it. And this wisdom comes more and more as we go through life. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
All right.
But that's life. And I think life is hard, and it's that which doesn't kill us only makes us stronger. I mean, it's so true.
That was my quote in my yearbook when I was a
Of
teenager.
course it was. Of course it was.
Of course it was, right? It fits, and it fits you too. So same page.
Yeah.
All right, AJ, thank you so much for this today.
Thank you.
I knew we'd have another good talk.
I know, always. We can do this all day.
All day. Criminal Minds, everybody can tune in. And until next time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kara.
Number one, you can watch my first talk with AJ. AJ opens up about growing up Mormon and moving from a small town to Hollywood. All right, option number two is that you tune into my talks with Joe Montana. He opened up about losing friends, his family, and autism. And we also talk about how to live your best possible authentic life. Option number three is to make sure you're subscribed and you turn on notifications, because my next talk is with Aisha Tyler, also from Criminal Minds. And we have so many gems for you about living your best life. Aisha opens up about things that have happened to her, challenges like divorce and perfectionism, going from being obsessed with your physical flaws to really celebrating your body. And we give you secrets to why being in your 50s absolutely rocks. Thank you for watching. I'm Kara, and I hope that these videos help you feel a little bit more connected, and they help you see that everybody has struggles. Like, no matter how much success they have, no matter how perfect everything looks, but there are ways to shift how you see things and truly get the best out of life. Thanks for watching, and if you have any comments or you have suggestions, drop a comment and I'll see you in the next video.